Oh, oh man. All right. We are jumping into another episode of what's going on. Nobody's on yet. So we are getting ready for another week of This Week at SecureIt, shooting live from the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. Waiting for people to wake up and jump on the show. Hey man, what's going on? We're just kind of letting things kind of wind up.
I just raised it up with some ammo cans and make it
You look good.
change the view a bit.
I like it.
Oops, I messed up my cord though.
That works. All right, guys, we are kind of getting things going here. I'm for those just joining, I'm in Las Vegas at the wonderful Trump Hotel. I'm out here. There's services tonight for JohnBartolo. If you followed last week's show or if you followed the industry on certain areas, he passed away a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. He had a heart attack. He was 40 years old, and his left behind a son that's 6 weeks old. Really, it's just tough story. Great guy, but we've got a memorial service out here tonight. There'll be a lot of people at it, and SecureIt was a sponsor of his podcast. In fact, we had just finished building the studio. I encourage everybody to go to just Google John Bartolo show or John Bartolo. His podcasts, they're all there, and they're all fantastic. He was really good. And his show was just going up in popularity like crazy. But I did 2 episodes. The last one we did was when we launched his new studio. We had just finished building it, and it's a really good show. He asks a lot of good questions, and he really knows how to do a good interview. But I encourage everybody to go check that out. So, guys, as always, the purpose of us doing a live show is just to share information, have a dialogue, and get things going. So people, questions, ask them. Don't be shy. There's not a question we won't answer. That's one thing that we do at SecureIt that I'm a big believer in is blunt honesty about everything. And you might not always like my answers, but I'm going to tell you how I think. I don't buy into the PC correct or soundbite or let's not be afraid of saying some bullshit or something. So anyhow, Steve, what's going on in the office today?
Well, we got some exciting news for all those people who have been asking about the lights.
That's right.
We have our first sample. There is going to be a little bit of change to it, mostly just to make our logo stand out a little bit. But I can turn it on, but it's probably going to blind the camera. So we'll get a good shot here. So it has, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's got the Sith mode for tactical or, red light. You can change the brightness. I don't know if that's anything people are able to see. And then you can put it as white light also, and it's going to have a motion detector. So it'll just turn on and off automatically.
That's so cool. Magnetic, connects to the bottom of the shelves.
Yep.
And it also has a peel and stick on it. So just boom.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we can all send Ron in product support some flowers, cards, and letters because he's been pulling out what's left of his hair too. I'm just kidding. I'm giving him a hard time. It's so bad. No, nice work. It's a nice setup. It looks really good. Packaging is good, and the functionality they really got it nailed. So, guys, I'm not sure the comments are working. Steven, I'm not seeing any comments.
Let me see because I got to pull up the YouTube because I can't see them on this one.
Yeah, I'm not showing.
Got a power cord.
Hey guys, if people are watching, somebody type a comment because I don't see that they're working on my. Boom! I'm here. All right, Ray. It's just everybody's quiet today. So, other things happening in the industry. It's interesting. We talked about it a little bit last week. I'm watching the Biden administration. I'm watching Biden speak, and it's really fascinating. There's a shift happening in the administration, and when they went to this idea of let's defund police and let's the police are to blame for all the problems. We're going to defund police. It was right at the time when there were riots in a lot of cities. And you had people, I'll use Minneapolis as an example, looking down out of their condos. These are high-end, expensive condos in Minneapolis at the streets on fire and riots. Then they look at their TV and their mayor and town councilor saying, we're going to get rid of police. And they all realize for the first time that personal safety and security is your responsibility first. It's up to you, and then government police as a backup. And I think a lot of them got scared. And when you look at gun sales and gun purchases, we had record first-time gun buyers, and those are in states that were predominantly not heavy gun states. Delaware, the lowest gun ownership state in the country, had the highest growth rate of first-time buyers. So the Democrat Party, or the faction of it that want this anti-gun, really backed off because they realized, if you notice, there hadn't been a lot of talk on this. They really backed off because they realized the people that they want to vote for them just went out and bought guns. And I had a relationship with a guy. He's a tech guy who was doing some work for us, and I get the feeling he's a more liberal guy, and he was an anti-gun guy. But all this going on, he bought a handgun, taken a course. He's actually going back for additional training, and he's found out that he really likes it. And now he is a regular range rat. I mean, he's not going out he's range rat, but he goes out to the range at least twice a month, and he really enjoys it. And that's happened to a lot of people. And the anti-gun movement was set back because they realized the people that were going after the vote for us on our platform just bought firearms, and they're kind of getting into it. But now we've just recently seen Biden coming out saying we're going to fund police. We need to get them training. He's still kind of blaming police for problems, which, I mean, that's just the way they do it. I mean, there's always room for training, but I think law enforcement in America does a hell of a job. But in doing that, he said we're going to get back to funding police, getting them training, getting our police forces strong. In the very next sentence, and we need to get guns off the street. We're going to go after guns. So when they talked about defunding police, they realized very quickly they can't go after guns because there's no line of defense. And now there's this little push I see to let's make police our heroes. Let's fund police. Let's build strong police departments so we can go after the guns. So keep an eye on it. I don't think they can win this one. I think the anti-gun movement has been set back dramatically simply because so many first-time buyers were people that were not gun people. Some of them were anti-gun people, but they realized that that's going to be their only line of defense. And once you own a firearm and you're proficient with it, you've got the training, you know what you're doing, and you're confident with it, it gives you a level of confidence. I mean, everybody knows that of personal safety and security. You go to sleep at night knowing if shit hits a fan, you're ready to defend you, your family, your loved ones. So ultimately, I think the Second Amendment's in pretty good position right now. But we got to keep an eye on it. Secure, which I want to get the dialogue, try to get it changed a little bit from, they talk about gun violence on news all the time. They always talk about gun violence. I didn't get that shifted to gun safety. We talk about gun safety and then talk about they never talk about all the situations where properly trained people, citizens with firearms stopped bad things from happening or just prevented simply, this house protected by Smith & Wesson. I've seen that sign. And bad guys know that you're armed. They're going to leave you alone. Simple as that. But that's my opinion talking point. I'm rocking my camera world here, and first time just soaking in it. Well, thank you. I just saw the comment. Great, glad to have you aboard. So we go live every Friday. Now, what's going to be happening? A quick update on what we're doing. For those who don't know, we are just launching production for Agents of Change. And this is going to be on the Sportsman's Channel. It's going to be airing, I believe it's the first week of July is first episode. It's going to be a 13-episode season. And what we're doing, it's our show. And we're going to go out in the firearms and outdoor sports community. And what we want to do is highlight people, products, and companies that are driving innovation and change in the firearms community. It's my position, and several people, a lot of people in our industry that see this industry not moving forward, or there's a lot of resistance to moving forward. And I see it. I talk about gun safes all the time. They're stuck in the 1970s. They've never changed. They changed locks, they changed graphics, they changed paint, but the inside of a gun safe, the function of a gun safe hasn't changed, and it should change. They don't work very well. We're going to do some examples of our stuff later on in the show, but there's this this tie to the heritage of the Wild West, of tradition, of Americana, of all the old, looking back at the past, which, I mean, I'm a big believer of that. Our history is pretty amazing. And as far as firearms go, if you look at my buying habits, I pretty much buy lever action guns, vintage guns. I don't spend much time shopping for, I just got a Stag Arms Stag 10 6.5 Creedmoor and a 110 Elite. This was the Savage 110 Elite long range rifle. So here I'm just going against my own thing. But what I really like to look for is cool old lever action rifles. That's really what I like. I like to hunt with lever action rifles, and I use my old vintage rifles when I hunt. I think that I just think it's cool. But as far as the industry is concerned, there are a lot of really neat, interesting, fascinating people. There's some new products coming down the pipe that I think they're game changers. I think there's going to be a revolution in certain areas of firearm, not in the guns, but in some of the accessories, some of the way that we shoot. I'm not going to spill too much candy in the lobby, but there's some things coming that could be absolute game changers in our industry. So the purpose of Agents of Change as a TV show is to bring in and highlight these products and people that are driving change in our industry. Going along with that, this program, this week at SecureIt, is going to become the Agents of Change podcast. And we're going to kind of revamp what we're doing a little bit. It's still going to be the same, us doing our thing, but we're going to be bringing on guests throughout the community, the firearms community, who are really working towards new, innovative, and different things, whether it's training tactics, whether it's products, accessories, firearms, ammunition. There's a lot of things happening, and I think it'll be a good show. I think it's something that's not really happening in our industry. There's a lot of podcasts out there that talk about a lot of stuff, but I don't see things focusing on the future, on where things are going. So that's kind of what's going on. If you have questions, we better go through and take a look at some of these, Steven. I'm not.
Well, there was some questions on New York pistol permits. I was typing those in as we were going.
Okay.
And now the talk is to lever actions. And I think I'm in the same boat as you. I own both Henry and Marlin.
Yeah.
I like both of them. But one of my favorite rifles is the Henry 22 mag that I have. I love that thing.
I know you do.
The other one. And it's funny, one of the other rifles I really like shooting, and I think if ES Jeep is who I think it is, it's actually his rifle that I've snagged from him and had for years, but it's this really long, heavy-barreled, old Winchester 22 target rifle that is just super accurate. It is a blast to shoot.
That's I'm looking at Shane, is lever 4570. I love I'm looking for, I can't get it, the new Marlin. I can't even what they call it now. It's the short-barreled 4570. It's got the Picatinny rail on it. It's a brush gun, and when I hunt, I like this. We've got the SecureIt Ranch. It's a heavily wooded. We've got food plots. It's built well for deer. It's pretty rugged, a lot of hills, a lot of valleys, streams, and things. But it's a brush hunt, and we've got a lot of blinds. We've got a lot of stands set up. But I really like to be on the move, and there's no better firearm. Right now I hunt with a 30-30 when I'm walking. It's lightweight and it works, but I want to move towards The 4570, I'm just, even Henry's just got their side load, gate load 4570. Again, I'm looking at a 1 year wait to get one. It's really frustrating, but we build our own 4570 ammo. We're not, but Berto looking for the same thing. You know, I can't figure out what the craziness is. If why the popularity of that gun has gotten so crazy. Everybody I talk to says, yeah, 4570. Is it what's the Jeremy what's his name? There's that movie that came out with the guy up in Indian country where the girl gets attacked, gets killed, and he's investigating, and he's got a 4570. Wind River. I can't. If somebody knows the name of the movie, but it's it features that rifle, and it's a good movie. I wonder if that's what's driving the need. The Bighorn Armory 500 Smith & Wesson. You know, I don't have any hands-on experience with it, and you know, I can tell you what other people talk about, but that's hearsay. So I like to wait till Wind River. That's it. Yeah, thank you. If you haven't seen Wind River, people know me. I mean, I watch a handful of movies a decade or a year. I don't like to watch TV. I don't watch a lot of movies. I won't give my money to a theater. I don't want to support Hollywood, but that is a really good movie. I watched it on a plane when I was flying, and I actually watched it again a couple of years later. So, Mini 14, yeah, it's a good gun.
Yeah, their magazines are super expensive though, and you can't really do aftermarket. They don't load well, from what I've been hearing.
I'm just kind of scanning through some of the comments and things, but so guys, let's have a little conversation. You know, we talk about gun safes, talk about, you know, I don't like what gun safes do to their interiors. I'm just not a fan of it. But I threw together, I'm going to throw this in a, let me see if I can get this back to slide one. I think that works. Steven, do you see the stream? I'm getting this big StreamYard logo on our broadcast. I don't think that's part of the broadcast. I think
I got YouTube open. Let me take a look.
I don't think it is. But anyhow, guys, so I'm going to walk through a little bit of kind of our mindset for safe interiors to give you guys an idea. Now, our system we developed in 2007, 2008. We had a contract with U.S. Army Special Forces. It was an arms room assessment program where we went out, surveyed all their armories, and lots of photos, lots of documentation. And we spoke with armorers. We watched their workflow, and we prepared a pretty detailed report as to why their armories were failing. It was during that time that we came up with the idea of Cradle Grid. And what it is it's the back panel, louvered back panel, but it's a series of simple components that you just move around and allows you to create the interior that meets your needs. You know, when you buy a gun safe, like a traditional gun safe, you all have little W's, you got a shelf, they're all the same and they all work the same. So we came up with a solution. And I'll say that in the military prior to us, there were the systems they had were pretty rigid. So our system, all we're doing is moving a couple shells and our upper cradles around to create solutions that can meet a wide range of need. Now this one is this is all larger format rifles, and the two center rifles, that's a Petra and the Savage 110. They both have huge scopes on them, and everything fits clean and neat. I've got a little Beretta horizontal top. And shout out to the Beretta Storm. If anybody hasn't ever shot that gun, some people beat it up because it's a plastic gun. And other than the trigger's not very good. The trigger pull feels just like you're pulling sandpaper. It's not a good trigger feel at all. But for what the rifle's meant for, I've got this one, and we've got a little high point. They're both 9mm. We set up a dueling tree, and I'll tell you what, it's an accurate gun. You know, inside 100 yards, we'll set up a dueling tree at like 50 yards, just going fast, moving targets back and forth. And last time I got a bunch of guys together, we blew through a boatload of 9mm ammo. And it was what's that?
Oh, can you back up 2 slides before you go further? Oh, one more. Sorry. Yeah. I just wanted to point out that sometimes customers look for something, we don't have that product by name. So the plate carrier one, we came up with a solution with existing products that we had where you just put a dowel rod between our horizontal displays, and it actually works great for doing body armor. So if somebody has, a storage issue that, our product doesn't have, hey, it's meant for this in the title, let us know, and I'm sure we can come up with something most of the time.
Yeah, that's a great point. The plate carriers, we actually use this in the military. This exact thing, just cutting a dowel, running it through, and hanging it in horizontal mounts. I also use horizontal mounts as hooks for in a lot of situations. We just hang stuff from the horizontals. Tends to other things that we use in my homes. At my house, I've got a gun wall behind my home office. I've actually got guitars hanging on the horizontal mounts along with rifles. So there is a lot you can do. Again, we provide a tool that allows you to create the solution that meets your needs. I'd say the guys in Pendleton call it the Tetris rack because they start at the bottom with bins and all this, because they use a lot of bins in the military. They've got a lot of components, a lot of stuff they're doing, and work their way up. The guys out in Bragg, I think it was third group, called it the Lego rack because they just would build each. I mean, they got like 300 cabinets or Model 84s, and they're just building them each one to meet the need. Here I've got a cascading horizontal mounts with 3 rifles, and that's a set of horizontals that we sell, that we made it for retail stores to show a lot of rifles. Here I got a crossbow and a bunch of bins in there. I hunt with a crossbow now. Unfortunately, one of the things about getting older is my shoulder I really struggle to pull a bow. I see Matt's on. Well, hey, what's up, team? Hey, Matt. I hope your day is going well, man. Matt runs he runs half the company. Matt's the go-to guy at SecureIt for getting shit done. I'll tell you that.
I think that's in the part of the title of that department, ops, getting shit done.
Yeah, I think it is. It's because when you're the marketing, I mean, the beauty of what I do is I'm like a snowplow going down a narrow street. I'm just throwing crap over the fence, and everybody in ops has to catch it and like fix it and make it work. So I got a lot of trays in this, can fit a lot of ammo. And when you start drilling into some of the things we can do, it's an amazing amount of gear that you can store in and around firearms. Here I've got bins behind some of the guns. I've got a gas gun in the middle taking up all that room. That's a FX Impact air rifle, amazingly accurate. It's capable of taking a deer. It's a 30 caliber pellet. I have not hunted with it. I plan on doing some coyote hunting with it this coming year. Oh, Agile 52. Again, we set these shots up just to kind of show that it's in every situation, the rifles are properly stored. This is interesting. I pulled this apart, but you can get creative. In this case, I've got my, it's a Matthews bow. That's a Mission. It's a cheaper Matthews. I've got it hanging on the cradles, and I got the guns in front of it. Which, again, if you're only using a bow, I mean, I pull my bow out, my crossbow for, bow season is what it is. Other than bow season, I'm not ever shooting my bow. I should, but the reality of time. In the Agile quad, just 4 Agiles, 52s, 40s bolted together. And with the quads, I've got quads at my house, and I've got mine set up with rifles in the bottom and just shelves and gear on top. I find that when you're happily married, if all your hunting gear, all that stuff is kind of organized and out of sight, you can buy more. Nobody gets upset.
Because they don't know.
Well, it's if you're taking up closet space that could be other family use, it can be difficult. But I keep everything locked up and organized, and it works really well. And I find that I get more and more as we're doing more. I find Vortex sent us all those binoculars and optics. We're just getting all this stuff. and you got to keep it and organize it. That's just plain rifles. But there's unlimited things you can do with the system. Let me pull that out. So anyhow, guys, my day today is going to be kind of hanging out in Vegas. It's a beautiful sunny day. I've got to be at the services tonight. They moved it. It was 3 o'clock. They moved it to 7 o'clock. Changed the venue because the crowd, so many people had RSVP'd as coming to it. And I'll read it for those guys who just come on. I'm out in Vegas for the memorial service for JohnBartolo. We were a sponsor of his show, and he was a total rising star in the podcast world and an amazing guy. I'm going to encourage everybody, just Google his name, Google his podcast, watch some of the episodes, listen to him. It's his main viewership. I mean, it's a listening audience, but a lot of his shows, he recorded or broadcast them all live on YouTube, and then the main show was an audio podcast show. But he's got some great guests, and if you go back through the history of that show, every person he had on that show, I would listen to it. I would always learn 2 or 3 really valuable things, whether it was a marketing idea, a personal life goal idea, something. But anyhow, so happy wife, happy life. That's right.
And Berto is asking about a pistol, basically a display thing for the back of the door with just pistols. That is something that you can do with our answer line, because we do have, or not answer, apologies, the Agile line, because we do have a Molly one. So you can do Molly holsters on the whole thing. And we looked at doing more pistols on there, but depends on where you're at. We're in New York. It's hard to get a pistol permit, so a lot of our customers don't have a lot of pistols, if any.
Yeah, but you know what? Is that a blind spot? I'll call it out. Is that a blind spot of us? Because we live in a state where handguns are difficult. So
it's one of those things where I think with a door organizer, if you have a fixed door organizer, you're wrong no matter how you configure it, because everybody has their own setup. So there is something that we've looked at where we want to make it more adjustable, like the rest of our system.
Have we ever looked at doing it just like mass Velcro sections, and then because there's a lot you can do with pistol storage.
We've looked at that. I think the problem with that is we weren't seeing a lot of pouches and stuff, so we probably have to do our own pouch line. Where something like Molly, there's a gazillion different Molly pouches out there, but they're kind of pricey. So it's still a debate where we're looking at something that we can make more modular.
And everybody if you've got a lot of handguns, look at the 11 capacity handgun pack. It's a military product. When we do M9s in the military, we're doing hundreds and hundreds of them, and it fits in all the products. It holds 11 handguns on pegs. Now it won't hold a 22, so it has to be a larger caliber than a 22. But if you've got a lot of what would you call those? Full size, not full front, but
larger caliber,
man caliber handguns. The 11 capacity pack holds 11 guns in a tight organized setup, and it does work really well. And they're on pegs; you can extract them very quickly. And with the pegs that there's around in the chamber, because you made a mistake, which I can't imagine so we do, the gun won't seat properly, so it'll let you know. But take a look at that product. You've got a lot of handguns. You can store, what's it like in an answer cabinet? Well, I can answer. What's that max out for handguns?
I'd have to calculate that one. I know it for the Agiles.
It's got to be close to 100. I mean, it's a lot. And the Agile
is more.
Yeah.
For the answer 12, because you could get, I would say you could get at least 10 pistol pegs in there, if not 12, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're 120 or so. Okay. What's an Agile?
Agile is, let's see, I believe the 40 you can fit 3, possibly a 4th, and the Agile 52 you could hit 4, maybe 5 of them. I calculated it once. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, so you're getting a lot of guns in there. You got Janet. You can buy more, so long as the wife gets to shop as well. Absolutely. Janet's joining us today. She is our office manager, and she's the She makes gears turn in the SecureIt organization. She's been with us for a long time. We give Janet a hard time only because there's a great deal of respect, and we just like her so much. But being part of the band of misfits makes you subject to all sorts of harassment. You said 4 and a 40. That's Pete just threw that in. So, guys, other things going on of interest. We are launching the SecureIt, like a field agent, field rep program. That's going to be going live next month. And the goal of the program is to get our customers, to get them better tools and better incentives and better reason, and just a whole user experience to share the SecureIt story and share what we do. A little, SecureIt, we're growing at 44% per year. It's pretty amazing growth if you look at our history. And if you do the math on 44% per year over year, you realize you're doubling every couple of years. It's amazing growth. And we spent just about zero on advertising in the last 3 years. All of our growth is coming from our customers get our product and their friends see it and they go, wow, because they've never seen anything like it. So we're putting together a program that will allow our customers, the ones that really want to go out and talk about SecureIt, to do it. And it gives you some incentives to do it from, I don't know the whole details of the program, but from product to, we've got a whole bunch of swag coming as far as SecureIt clothing, to store credits. I mean, it's there's a lot involved. I don't want to go into the details because I don't know the details yet, and marketing department is running with that, and and I trust that they're doing an amazing job with it. But that is going to be rolling out, and it's going to be a really neat program. And so stay tuned for it. It'll be the SecureIt sphere of influence is about to grow tremendously. You take that along with our Agents of Change program and podcast, and this summer there's going to be a lot happening with SecureIt. And our goal is to get out a lot more and be part of, I'm going to say, the customer experience, or to be part of the community. We've kind of operated under the radar screen. We've not advertised. We're this small little quiet company in Syracuse that's got this movement that's happening as the world changes their view on how to store firearms. But this year, we're going to be changing that up quite a bit. Also out in Vegas, if you come out here to travel, if you're really into firearms, you may know of Range 702. That is, it's a gun range. It's not far off the Strip. And they host a lot of events. A lot of people that come out want to go out and shoot all sorts of guns will go to that range. We are working with them. We're going to build out the interior of their whole display section, and then we're going to create a SecureIt showroom there. It's going to be our first, SecureIt customer experience center, whatever you want to call it. But it's a place for people who want to see our products, who aren't that familiar. If you're in Vegas, spend a couple hours, go over. You can shoot some guns. You can see our stuff. This is our first. The goal is to roll out into destination cities around America a SecureIt experience center. So this will be one. We're going to have one in Texas, probably Dallas, Fort Worth, probably Orlando. East Coast, we're looking at various cities. We're not sure yet. We're going to roll slowly into this, but it is coming. And I think it's going to be really good for people who are just finding out about SecureIt and kind of want to kick the tires before they invest.
I did have one customer request this week, Tom. I don't know if he's just sick of seeing my face, but he wanted to know if you're going to bring on other employees to talk and see what some of our team looks like. So that could just be him sick of me. So.
Well, we're all pretty much sick of you, but that's great. We will be doing that. Yeah, there's as we get the podcast. I mean, we're still really new into this, and we're not experts. I never let lack of knowledge stop me or stop this company from doing things. So we're just we're rolling into what we're doing, and we're gaining experience all the time. We got the studio built out. We're slow. There's still some changes coming, but we're gaining a lot more capacity, not more capability with what we're doing. So yeah, we will have people on. Obviously, you get some employees that are shyer than others and a little nervous about going on and doing live show and all this stuff. But we'll get it figured out. We're also this summer, I've got to look at the tech side of it. We do want to do some broadcasts from out at the SecureIt Ranch. It's an amazing place that nobody knows about. And Steven, you've spent some time out there. We've done we got a lot of logging work to do this spring.
Yeah.
And I want to get out there, and we're going to start looking at plans for building a log cabin. We've got a nice barn we just built. I want to build a log cabin on the main next to the barn, commanding view, then a smaller up in the woods, up in the mountain. There's a spot that we're going to build a second smaller unit, both of which just have incredible views down valleys in the central New York, kind of not really mountains. It's big rolling hills. What would you call that area?
I'd say that's rolling hills.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they're big enough so they're ski areas, not tiny, but.
And SJ or ESG wants to know the name of that range again.
Oh, 702. I think it's just called Range 702, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't been to Vegas, so, but I believe he's out in Southern California, so he's pretty close to there.
Yeah. I think it's called the Range 702. I'm just looking up real quick. Yeah, the Range 702 is so yeah, if you're out here, by all means stop by. They do a Chris Kransky, I think his last. Chris is she's the owner manager, and she's badass. She's really cool. I really like her a lot. She runs a really good business. In fact, she's on an episode of Bartolo. If you look up JohnBartolo, Chris, Kris, it's a good episode. They go into a lot of detail on stuff. The Range 702. Thanks, Mr. B. All right, guys. Let's. Anybody have any questions or things for us right now? We're probably going to be wrapping things up here. I've got a couple things. I've got some phone calls, some people I'm going to talk to today about putting together the Agents of Change. We're lining up some of the people that are going to be on the show, and I'll tell you what, guys, that's going to be a cool show. We've got a really good production team. They're experienced, way more experienced than I am at this stuff, and more important, we've really been able to find. I was worried that we would not be able to find enough innovative products, people, and companies to actually do the show. And when I first walked through SHOT Show, I was just like, damn, there's nothing new. But as you dig in a little bit, you realize there's a lot of gold in there. So we've got it's exciting stuff to talk about. And there's going to be some big changes that are going to be happening over the next 2 years within the firearms community. I see a couple of changes in technology that's going to be dramatic changes in our industry and parts of our industry. We'll talk about it more as the show, when those episodes of the show air. But is it just one per package? The light? It is one per package, isn't it?
Correct.
All right, guys. Anybody have any questions for us? Anything at all? Whether it's business, politics, student loans. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. It's all. Oh, one last I'll tell you. If you haven't done it yet, check out Joe Rogan's podcast with Jordan Peterson, the professor out of University of Toronto. I watched it the other last week, and even Joe said at the end of that podcast, he goes, "I think this is one of one of the best. I think this is my favorite podcast I've ever done. Peterson, he's an amazing guy, and very well spoken, and really knows his stuff. And I'm gonna tell everybody to watch that or listen to it. I'm not sure. I think it's on video, but I know it's on his podcast. It's a good one, very long. Yeah, Rogan does 3-hour podcasts, and I've been on several podcasts that go an hour, and I'll tell you what, the time goes by fast. But 3 hours, I mean, the people in SecureIt that know me sitting still in a chair for 3 hours is probably not going to happen. But
well, you could do it as long as we have a remote camera, so you can go out and work on the cars for a little bit, and just talk through that as you go.
Yeah, hey guys, I am going to do a podcast. We're going to do an episode. We're going to set up out in the shop and kind of go through some of the other stuff that I'm working on. I'm building the SecureIt Fastbox, which is a 66 Ford Falcon project. My other passion, I do like, I'm a guitar player, but I do like vintage cars. And I'm building a 66 Ford Falcon hot rod. My very first car when I got started in life back in the 80s, when I had a Volkswagen Bug when I was really young, piece of crap, but I had a 66 Falcon I drove for about 7 years. And I ended up selling it. I really liked that car, so I found one, same model, 6-cylinder, red, neat little car, and now I've got it taken apart. We're building a stroker motor for it, which I'm going to build, 5-speed transmission, air conditioning, 4-link rear suspension, 370 gears. It's going to be, with the 5-speed, it'll be a hot rod off the line, but it'll also cruise on the highway all day long. I've got a Global West front suspension on it, which is going to make this thing handle like a fairly modern Mustang. The suspension is very modern for an old car, which I really like doing. I did a 68 Vet 3 years ago, which is my daily driver in the summer, but I do like driving the old cars. And eventually my next build after this is going to be a vintage car with an electric motor, which is going to piss off a lot of my gearhead friends, but I do want to build that. And the last piece I'll share on the car front that is coming along. In fact, I'm going down to Orlando next week, and I'm not sure we'll be doing a live show next week. I will be traveling that day. But I've got my 56 Elmquist Sabres. We have 2 of them. We are building one as a street car, which I'm going to have some pictures of it. The body's out the paint. It's a fiberglass car, and the chassis is just about done. The second one, we're building a land speed car. We're going to Bonneville next year for a Class J land speed record with a Sabre. It'll have a Kawasaki GSX 750 motor that's being built by Carpenter Racing. They're building 2 motors. They're turbocharged, about 420 horsepower. The car's a little missile, so we're hoping for 220 on the Salt, and which will put us well into setting a record for Class J. But we're going to have a camera crew out there. We're going to make that a SecureIt sponsored car. And it's going to be we're going to try to make that into an event. Steven, I know you're going to be there because you want to be, and you're the first guy that just have been into this. So you'll be part of the crew out there.
And speaking of cars, you have a lot of car parts that came in the last 2 days.
Is there a really big long box?
There's that. There's one that
very heavy.
Koo warned me it's really heavy. I'm like, whatever, it's a little box, and yeah, he wasn't kidding. Holy cow!
That's a custom built Ford 9-inch rear end, and that's the third member. That's a 370 gears. What I did, guys, if you're a car guy, I took the whole rear suspension off. I've got big back tires that don't fit, kind of. So I built a wooden frame on a transmission stand, and positioned the tires perfectly into the fender wells, so they just clear without doing any work on the car. Then I measured it, and I had a rear end made, which actually isn't that expensive. I was amazed. I had a rear end made to the exact width I needed, so the tires will tuck up into the fender wells. It's gonna work really well. It's gonna look really good. But I've been itching to get going on that. I've never built a 4-link rear suspension. I don't know how to, other than I'll watch some YouTube videos. And when you don't know how to do something, just start doing it. You'll make mistakes, but you also figure it out. So we are going to video that. I've got my personal channel. I'm doing a series on the Falcon where I'm building the car and kind of talking about business advice and things. It's a Suzuki 750. What did I say?
Kawasaki. You always say Kawasaki.
Guys, I'm not a motorcycle guy. I just, I'd love to have one until my kids are married and have their own families. I don't want the risk, but
I almost rode today. If it was a wee bit warmer, I would have rode into the office.
yeah, it's a nice day. All right, guys, we're going to get wrapping things up. Does anybody have any last requests, questions, recipes? I don't know what I'll share here. We'll just hang and guys, thanks a lot for joining us today. Stay tuned. The show format's going to be changing. We're going to be bringing in working on bringing in a lot more guests. Bringing in remote guests isn't easy because quite often the video quality of a lot of people remote is they just don't have the equipment. So what we're actually thinking about doing is getting two cases and building a easy portable video setup where when we have guests on the show, we're going to UPS or FedEx them a package which they plug into their computer and set up a couple small lights and a camera so that they look really good. Because it's one of the things that drives me nuts on podcasts that bring in remote people is the host looks great and sounds great, and the guest sounds like shit and looks like shit, and it just doesn't work well. So we are going to start. I got to talk to some experts on this thing, but putting together a video package that, like a video studio in a box, so that guests on the show can do it and look good. Recipes. I'm letting my brain just kind of go there. All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. So thank you very much for joining us. Get out to the range. If you've got good weather, do some shooting. If you've got your SecureIt cabinets all set up and cool, snap some photos, send them over. We love to see them. And Stephen, thank you very much for joining me.
Always.
I'm not sure we'll be back next week. I believe I will be in the midst of traveling. I'll be down in Florida next week with the family, and
as long as you text me some pictures of that car, because I'll
have a lot of photographs. I'm not sure what the status of the body should be getting. I think it's probably in the clear coat now, but I really don't know. It's at the painters. I think they're shooting. They just completed shooting color, but. Oh dear. Yeah, we've opened a can of worms here. All right, guys, we're going to drop out. Everybody have a great weekend and live the dream, baby. Live the dream. All right, Steve, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.